Well, hi there.
Hello.
Here, I'm going to make everybody a little bit bigger so I can see ya.
I'm going to bring this closer
Oh,
to
yeah. We have to get all situated. We had a diaper-related emergency, and so we appreciate your patience with us as we're a little bit late getting started, but I'm really excited to be here with you today. On Monday, I got a really great comment. It's a comment we get fairly often, but they all make me super duper happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked permission to share that, and I shared it in our community tab. And, I got a lot of really cool responses from you guys. So I actually want to read some of those today.
Are you?
I'm going to read a few of them, but I wanted to talk actually about my own experience with ball pythons. Because, the basic, well, here, I'll read the original comment real quick. Right. So the original comment from an awesome viewer named Cami. Cami said, "Clint, your channel has made me decide I'm not scared of snakes. I was frightened of the unknown. I'm going to figure out a way to get experience handling, and I'm going to get one when I'm fully able to. Most likely a ball python. First, not a big guy until I have a home." Excellent choice, by the way. And it makes me so happy. I've been thinking about a few experiences. We made a video not long ago about and a really awesome experience that I had with some kids that were they were killing garter snakes, which is a common thing people do, especially to snakes, out of fear.
Yep.
And that was a really awesome experience. And I've never been afraid of snakes in that way, but I have been nervous around snakes, especially pythons. Growing up, I spent a lot of time with colubrid snakes, like garter snakes and bull snakes, and I felt very comfortable with them, mostly because I know what they look like when they're defensive. This is a snake that is not afraid right now. But a lot of snakes are, well, I didn't know if I knew how to read them. And pythons, compared to most colubrid snakes, they've got big teeth. They strike hard and fast. They've got labial heat pits, so they're a little more accurate potentially in their strikes.
And those labial heat pits are intimidating too, I think. They look a little intense.
That's exactly right. And so I was nervous around pythons. I felt like I didn't know how to read them. But as I was researching snakes, ball pythons kept coming up as being awesome. And I had a couple of experiences that made a big change for me. One of them was that I had to remember an experience from my past. When I was in high school, I worked at a pet shop. And
just a mom and pop one, right?
No, it was a chain pet store.
Oh.
And I worked there just for a few months, and I worked with the fish, so I wasn't even a reptile person. I wanted to be a reptile person, but they already had a reptile person. They needed a fish person, and I like fish. And so I like everything. You might have noticed this. I like all the things, right? I like reptiles more than I like fish on average, but I mean, sharks might be my favorite things of all, and I like the fish. It was fun. It was a fun job. But a lot of the time during the day, and I had to remember back on this, there was a big, sweet female, probably import ball python, because this was some time back, about the size of this girl. And I used to carry her around with me while I would work sometimes. And I'd forgotten about that experience.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, well, she was absolutely delightful and wonderful. And then there was one other experience that really made a big difference for me. I went to one of my friend's house, and he's a bigger reptile person than I am, still to this day. And he had at his house a juvenile green tree python. Mm-hmm. And I remember watching that. Yep, Alicia was there for this. I remember watching that snake and thinking, that snake's going to bite him for sure.
Yeah.
Because it was doing all the things that colubrids do. It kind of flattened its head a little bit. It was doing long, slow tongue flicks. It was totally fixated on him. And he reached in there and it bit him in the palm. And he bled because it's a green tree python. They've got big teeth, even as babies. Yeah. And it bit right through his palm. And I was like, after that, I felt all better about pythons. Because it's like, oh, they telegraph what their mood is in exactly the same way as colubrid snakes. Mm-hmm. It's not some other monster. I can read this snake. And then I felt comfortable with him, and I've had an absolutely delightful experience. I've only been bitten by one python now. It was a baby ball python while I was at Tinley It's in our Tinley video, actually. Not the actual bite, but
I don't remember
aftermath.
that a baby bit you.
That's the fourth snake bite I ever
That's right.
experienced, and it was just a guy had just gotten it, so he didn't know its temperament, and he handed it to me, and then we were talking, and so I was watching him instead of the snake. 3 of my 4 bites have been snakes I wasn't watching. If you're watching a snake, it's usually pretty easy to avoid it.
This snake's beautiful.
She's a gorgeous snake.
Her thickness is just.
She is. I don't know why she's so thick. She almost looks like a blood python, ball python hybrid because she's wide. All of her is wide. Her head's wide.
Her head's wide and her body.
Her body's wide, and her babies are wide.
It's really satisfying to see her so thick.
It's heritable, whatever
Really?
it is, because her babies come out wide.
That's
Males and
really
females,
cool.
they're wide.
I really like.
I
her.
love it. And you know, and if I was gonna call it something, I would call it like the wide gene because she is super wide. I love this snake. She is one of my favorites. But obviously, I have lots. But this is not the first time she's been on this.
So, anyways, back to your.
Anyway, so you know, it's amazing how much an experience like that can change your perspective. And now, I mean, I love ball pythons. I've got more ball pythons maybe than all my other snakes combined.
Maybe.
And I just love them. And I don't know. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I know you used to be worried about snakes, and now you are much less worried about snakes.
Her.
Oh, you want to hold her?
Yeah. Much less worried about snakes, but I will have to say that ball pythons are one of my very favorite snakes to handle.
Mm-hmm.
They're just the perfect size, and they're the perfect, like, they explore just enough where you feel like you can watch them and control them and it's fun, but they aren't like crazy where you're having to treadmill and stuff. Like she'll calm down and just hang out and
hold on to you.
She holds on. Yeah, I like that too.
Yep.
So
I like her a lot. But how did you get over your fear of snakes?
I think it was just exposure, little by little. Clint, do you want me to tell them?
Sure.
So when we were dating, Clint found a snake up the canyon. It was a rubber boa,
which are like the most delightful snakes you'll ever encounter in your life.
They're really cute. And I didn't know it. That Clint's like, I'm gonna keep this guy, see if I can feed him or see what we can learn from him. And I'm like, why people don't just like keep snakes at their house? That's weird. Like that's what I was thinking in my mind. Like you're just gonna keep the snake at your house. Anyway, so he was like, do you want to hold it? And I'm like, I don't. And I was really probably more nervous than I admit usually. Just I had caught snakes when I was little, garters mostly, and of course I was handling them wrong and not probably doing everything I shouldn't be doing and got bit. And so I was a little bit nervous from then on about the snakes. And Clint was like, well, what if I hold the head and you just touch the tail? What if you just hold the tail? And what if you just hold the body and I'll just keep the head away from you? And what if you just... And it was just the camel sneaking into the tent. Pretty soon the whole camel was in the tent and I was holding snakes all by myself.
And now, like, you know, especially... I know you're still nervous about getting some snakes out, but I've noticed when there are other people around that are afraid of snakes, you'll get anything out, right? Yeah. Like you're not, you know, you overcome that fear, and I'm so impressed by that. I've got some more of your comments that I'd like to read little by little as today goes on. I'd also like, you know, if you guys comment about your experiences with this. It's so cool, and honestly, it is the misunderstood animals that are my very favorite ones. Yeah, because I feel like. When they're, you know, when you find out that you love something that everybody loves, like you're just normal, right? But when you find out that something that you thought was truly terrifying isn't at all, like that's a life changer. Yeah, and
it's really amazing.
It's kind of my favorite thing in life. Anyway, I saw we had a bunch of comments coming in and stuff, but
you want to read some super chats?
Let's read a
super chat. All right. If you hear Martha, she's in a pack and play next to us eating some snacks, and she's enjoying giggling and playing over there.
She's got a good hold. Yeah. I'm going to give her a little break.
Let's see. Super chats. Our first one that came in is from our good friend Anthony, and he sent a super duper chat.
Hang on. Super duper chat.
It was almost a double super.
Almost a super duper chat.
Anthony says, for the reptile room, my friends, I'm getting some new creepy crawly friends in the mail tomorrow. Couldn't be more excited. Can't wait to show you guys on our next Zoom. Do you know what they are?
I know exactly what they are.
What
I know
are they?
exactly what they are.
Getting?
I can't tell.
Why?
Because it's a secret.
Why?
Well, because as it turns out, Anthony supports Clint's Reptiles on Patreon.
Uh-huh.
And one of the perks of being a Patreon supporter, a rad fan or a stinking rad fan, is you get early access to our videos.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a big deal, actually, because I want more emerald tree skinks.
Mm-hmm.
But I am not strategic.
Right.
In that I told everybody how awesome they are.
Before having a little stockpile.
Yes, to make sure that the market for emerald tree skinks is completely altered before I get more of them.
Yep.
And so I can tell you, we are covering an animal tomorrow that is stinking rad, and there's almost no reason not to have one. And Anthony, I know, just got some.
It's tomorrow's video?
It's tomorrow's
Just
video.
Tell
Oh,
them.
I told him you should do it now because they might be hard to find. No.
Can I?
No.
I want to guess.
Our other patrons, though, they've only got a limited window right now before the market may change dramatically.
Can I guess what it is?
I'll give you 3 guesses. I'll give you 3 guesses.
It's a creepy crawly. I think you've already posted the tailless whip scorpion.
Yes.
Okay. What is it? Is it a millipede?
Maybe.
Why maybe? You can't say maybe and count that as a guess. You have to say yes or no.
Oh, I told you I'd let you guess.
Okay. You have to say
no. No?
Are you sure?
Yes. One more. Will she get it?
You guys have any guesses? What are the guesses?
Yeah, Alicia's wanting to phone a friend.
Yeah. What are you guys guessing? A creepy crawly that's really great that there's no reason any. I'm trying to remember the things you've told me that
should we answer that we did. We covered it because there was no question, was there? Just
right.
Exciting.
Just that he's getting a creepy crawly.
Okay.
No, it's not a nymph. No, it's not. What else?
Brandon really liked the video on Gila monsters. I really want a Gila monster.
Not a beetle. Is it a beetle?
Is it a beetle?
Yeah.
Is that your final answer?
I remember you talking to me about cool beetles, but I can't remember if that was for a video or not. I don't think it's a stick bug. I don't think those are legal in Utah, are they?
There are native phasmids here in Utah.
There are.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool.
I've caught them before.
No, I don't think it's a beetles of the blue death, arachnid. Okay, beetles, my final answer.
Beetles?
No, I know.
There are a million species of beetles.
It is a beetle that's cool and iridescent.
Okay, that's your guess?
Yeah.
A beetle that's cool and iridescent?
No, my guess is a beetle.
A beetle.
Yeah.
It's a beetle.
Okay.
Now there are a million plus species of beetles. So it's one of those.
It's blue. I'm pretty sure it's
You're out of
blue.
guesses. She's out of guesses.
So Anthony got one of these.
Anthony got one.
That's really
And I was hoping he would. He told me he was wanting to, but I didn't know if he'd pulled it off. So I'm super excited for him.
That's really cool. Okay, Lauren Bevel sent a super chat. Super chat. Okay, sorry this will be long. I'm fostering 2 8-week-old lab puppies, and while you're a reptile guy, you know evolutionary biology. My question is, the puppies, here's another super chat. The puppies seem to have an innate sense to follow me versus my other dogs. Is this something we've bred into them, or is this just because I feed them? It's a good question.
That is a great question. There is a heck of a lot. Now you're comparing this to other dogs. So dogs generally are really into forming packs with humans. And we have both bred that into them, but they're also they're a pack animal. So it dates back to their ancestors before their interaction with humans.
Clinty didn't do his hair.
Yeah, that was silent. But you know, so they're all your dogs are going to follow you around more than your cat. But it is totally possible, and I would say probable, that hunting dogs, especially, which labs are, you know, a lab's job is essentially to follow somebody around as they traipse about through the forest and then either flush animals or, on command, or go out and get them after they've been shot, but not, and this is probably something that is bred specifically into labs, but I'm guessing here, not to run uncontrollably ahead of a hunter, because that's how you get yourself shot. And so my guess is there has been selection on them for dogs that follow well. And then they'll run out there when commanded to do so, but the rest of the time just stay behind you. That's my guess. Anybody else with labs, if you can confirm this, but I would say that is a very likely selected for trait by humans in labs specifically.
Interesting.
But it's only a slight modification of what dogs generally do. And that's cool to know.
I rate that an interesting attitude.
Yes. What's that from?
That's from Two Step Violin.
Oh!
Another YouTube channel that I watch.
Yeah, I haven't seen you watching them for a while, but they are really entertaining people.
Yeah.
And very good violinists.
Yes.
Or
Anthony.
fiddlers.
No.
They prefer that term, right?
No.
No, they do not.
I don't play the fiddle. I play the violin.
You can fiddle.
Yeah, but I don't. Anthony sent another almost super duper chat.
Almost super duper chat.
Hi there, my friends. How is the reptile room doing now that you've been open for a little? Also, how is enclosure building going? Got any ideas of what you'd want to put in the big enclosure? Berm, maybe? Much love.
Thank you for the question about the reptile room, because the reptile room is going to be open tonight.
Yes.
For the 4th time this month, which is really exciting. So I'll tell you, it's been an interesting ride so far.
Yeah, it has.
The first 2 days, there were so many people there that I was starting to think, like, do we need to add more days? Because it was really, there were a ton of people, which when we opened in October, we've only been open for like a month and a half in the 15 months that we've been in the reptile room.
Yeah.
But when we were open in October, every time there were just a few more people than the time before, but it started really slow. This time, the first week, tons of people. And then on Monday,
all the volunteers were at capacity. Everyone was busy. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was like just perfect. But it was like, I don't know how much more we can handle than this. But then on Monday, hardly any people. Just a handful, fewer than 10. And over the whole 5 hours that we were open. Which, that's really fun. If you're one of those 10, like, we get a ton of just one-on-one time and time to chat and hold stuff, but you get a lot of that anyway.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to see what tonight looks like. Is it like last week, or is it like Monday?
Yeah.
And honestly, right now, the reptile room is still completely dependent on face-to-face chats, or almost completely dependent on face-to-face chats for its survival.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying those so much that I'm trying to, even in our future plans, leave time open to do those, because they're awesome.
Time will become more and more limited.
Yeah, and the nice thing is, because we have those, it makes it so we can feel things out with what things are going to be like. Do we need to add more days, or are we just great with these? And so I do appreciate you guys doing those face-to-face chats. They're fun for me. It's awesome to get to hang out with you guys and see you from all over the world and show up the reptile room. And I think everybody who's come seems like they're having a tremendous time.
Yeah.
We've got some scheduled today, and please come that way. But if you can come personally at 5:00 tonight Mountain Time, you can come in person to the reptile room.
And it's always so flattering when people are traveling from so far away. Like Tima, she says she watches these after work, but she comes from Logan, which is about 3.5 hours
Is it
away.
that far?
Yeah.
It's really far.
It's between like 2 hours and 40 minutes and like 3 hours and 30, just depending on where.
Yep.
We're in Logan. So yeah, it's pretty far away, and she'll come down here with, I think, her husband.
Yeah, I didn't inquire as to the nature of their relationship.
Yeah. But we just love to meet people. We love seeing your names popping up on here, and then we get to put a face to the name and actually meet you. It's really fun.
And actually, going along with kind of the theme of this whole stream today, there are so many people that come that aren't reptile people.
Yeah.
And they're nervous. But there are also people who come who have all kinds of reptiles and stuff. And like, everybody has a good time. Some people are overcoming their fear. Other people are just getting to hang out with a whole bunch of other people who love reptiles, which how often does that happen to you? And hold reptiles and talk about reptiles and just have a delightful time. So anyway, that is the thing with the reptile room, is like, we've always just wanted it to exist. You know, like we don't, it was never a major priority for us that it was like hugely profitable. It just couldn't drive us into total poverty. But we wanted it to exist, and having it be open just a little bit, like it reveals that even though it's not because of COVID where I wanted it to be when we opened it, it works, right? People come there and they have the sorts of experiences that turn fear into love.
Yeah. Or turn love into more love.
Yes.
You're surrounded by other people who also
absolutely
love these animals.
Absolutely.
And for your other question, are you putting the berm in the Toad Ranch enclosure?
Yes, so I have that Toad Ranch enclosure, which I was going to use for a boa, but now I think we're going to be taking in a rescue berm. And so
Is that for sure?
No, but it's for likely. And so anyway,
that's exciting. And we still have some big enclosure plans coming up for this summer when Clint has a little more time to build. We're going to be building some beautiful enclosures. Stage 2. Yeah.
Will be underway.
We Clint and I have talked about it because we don't have tons of money, and so we've had to do stage 0 basically.
Yeah. We had an idea for what stage 1 is, and now that has because of COVID that has become stage 2.
Yeah. So it's exciting. Come to the reptile room, and if you can't, schedule one-on-one virtually.
Yes, please.
Betty Morgan sent a super chat.
Wait. I have a button for this.
Can you speak about Solomon Island tree boas? I just got one there. Docile, reasonably easy to get to eat rodent, and come in many colors. Maybe even do a video about them. Yeah,
that's one that I would definitely like to do a video about soon. I almost got some Solomon Island ground boas.
Oh, really?
When we went to Denver. But it was like I didn't know if I wanted to deal with bringing them all the way home from Denver. See. But we went to an expo in Denver a couple of years ago. Yeah. And they had some newborns.
And we met some of you guys here that that have now scheduled one-on-ones with you and stuff.
Yep.
They're at Denver.
So I'm so glad we did that. But I have a thing. Speaking of Denver, I don't know if we're gonna be able to make it out, but we should. So my family lives out in Colorado, and Emma from Emzotic, she lives out in Colorado, actually fairly near to where my parents live. So I reached out to her the other day and was like, if I come out, would you want to do some sort of a collaboration? And I think she keeps all kinds of really cool mammals and all kinds of different exotic animals. So if say we made 2 the best pet videos while we were with Emma, what would you want them to be?
That's a great question. I know what I would want.
What is?
I would want you to do armadillo.
If she has it. So she did a video on a 3-banded armadillo. Is that hers? One-eyed 3-banded armadillo.
Yeah. And I really.
So it's like a pirate armadillo. It makes me very happy. It's an armadillo, right? Sorry, everyone. Oh man, everyone's out. We're down to 3 people.
Let's see. Does anyone know Snake Discovery? Clint's done a few collaborations with Snake Discovery, so you can find.
Does anyone know Snake Discovery? Hopefully, almost everybody here. Do you know Snake Discovery? Is there anybody who's like, what the heck is Snake Discovery? There's a number of people, honestly, who commented. I'll read a couple of these really quick.
Aurora says M only has a few animals right now.
Okay. What are they?
Yeah.
Let's see. Snake Discovery. Oh, this is a long one, but can I read it real quick?
Sure.
Okay.
You okay?
This person, Sanctus Litum, says, for my entire 12 years of marriage to my wonderful wife, she was absolutely terrified of snakes, and I knew a pet snake. That silly goose.
She's getting some attention.
This is actually where comes from.
I'm going to hold her while you read that.
Well, she discovered this channel, and that has changed things. My wife binges Clint's Reptiles. My eldest daughter now has her first pet, which is a corn snake. And while my wife is still a no-touch state for herself, she now finds the snake cute and loves how inquisitive he is. She's starting to identify his personality and acknowledges it's only a matter of time before she'll probably be over her fear and holding him herself. My wife is determined to get a Eurymastix, and we are deeply considering becoming breeders once we have a little more experience under our belts.
That's so cool.
My wife caught the bug that I grew up with thanks to Clint, and it is wonderful to be able to share another passion in common with her.
That is so cool.
Isn't that the best?
That's really neat.
There are lots of those. They're the best. They're the best. A lot of them no talk about Emily. So if you're not aware of Snake Discovery, get over there and subscribe. What are you doing here?
Yep.
Actually, stay here, but open a second window and subscribe to Snake Discovery.
Mr. and Mrs. Marilia said, "Happy Friday, Clint. We met these guys.
Yay!
They're awesome just a couple weeks ago. What else do you breed besides ball pythons, crested geckos, and obviously emerald tree skinks? What's your favorite to breed?" Sorry, she's messy and getting you.
She's doing just fine. I breed I bred a lot of bearded dragons last year, and leopard geckos occasionally I bred. I just kind of
cockroaches.
Yeah, cockroaches. I breed buckets of cockroaches.
Well, hissing cockroaches, and he doesn't feed them because he likes hissing cockroaches.
Oh,
so
I don't feed them off. I feed them.
Yeah.
I don't feed them to things.
Yeah. So you just breed hissing cockroaches.
Yes, I do. Oh, and apparently, massive numbers of Starry Night reed frogs.
Yeah, morning geckos.
Yeah, morning geckos.
Which is your favorite to breed?
Ball python. Largely because it's a fun genetics and art game, right? Like I get to pick my genes very carefully and which pairings I do, and like it's really fun. And then you get the surprise of opening a pack of Pokemon cards because it's like you pair these two snakes and you know there's 14 different options that can come out, and it's like, which ones did I get?
Yep.
There are 8 eggs.
Let's see if Martha will say mama for them. Can you show them how you say mama? Mama.
What about dada?
Mama.
What was the other thing she said this morning that was so funny?
Hi?
I was like, what?
Oh.
No, come?
Oh, yeah,
to
come.
Theo? Yeah, she said come to Theo this morning.
Mama.
You know, we started doing these before she was born, right? This is so cool.
Again. Mama.
Do you want to know who's not afraid of reptiles? This one. Not at all. We talked, I think, about her cute Big Daddy chasing last time, didn't we?
Yeah, it was really cute. Ricky Troy Mosley sent a super chat. Do you have any ironclad beetles out there in Utah? And would they make a good pet?
Ironclad beetles. I'm going to Google these just so I know what they are.
Mama.
Ironclad beetles.
Good job. Good job.
They sound like they could be tenebrionids, but I don't know.
Can you say dad now? Dad.
Good one.
Martha. Good job.
You guys are watching her grow up. That's so crazy. Wow. Okay. So.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Hi.
Those are hardcore and awesome. Ironclad beetles. Let me see if we have.
They said, how old is Martha? Martha's 9 months. She's almost 10 months.
These are super duper cool. Look at those. So I don't think we have any of these. Look at the size of the pronotum.
Let me see.
Oh,
wow.
Interesting.
Show
I
them.
didn't know of this.
Show them
as
a picture of them.
just a second. I didn't know about this. So okay, they got to be getting close, but probably not quite in Utah. But I can tell you, it appears that ironclad beetles include the beetles that we'll be talking about
Really?
tomorrow.
That's exciting. So you'll find out tomorrow if they make a good pet, or does he get to find out right now?
Tomorrow.
Naughty. He sent a super chat for it.
Yeah, I know. And they make rockin' pets. I already told you there's no excuse not to have them.
Natasha Peterson sent a super chat. Success story. I showed this is exciting. Thanks for sending success stories. I showed my sand boa on Zoom, and my friends went from can't even look at snakes to, oh, it's got a dopey face, and that's sort of cute.
That's a big jump.
Yeah.
And that's maybe the most important jump.
Yeah.
Now you got to get them face to face with the snake.
Yeah.
Face to googly eyes.
Dun sent a super chat, said, glad I could catch you two again. Been busy breeding my crusties, and I just got a 72-gallon female breeder with 72 grams. Sorry.
Okay, I'm like, that is a big gecko. 72 gallons.
With 5 out of 5 structure. 5 out of 5/5. How do I say that?
Yeah, she's got great structure.
I'd love to show you a pic of her.
I'd like to see that too. If you want to tag her on Instagram, tag us in the picture. I'd love to see that.
Sean P sent a super duper chat.
Super duper chat.
What are your suggestions for small pet tortoise other than a Russian?
Pancake. That is a cool tortoise too, and we have video on them.
Matt.
But depending on how small we're talking. Honestly, I think redfoot, yellowfoot, cherryhead tortoises, they're really awesome. I mean, they're not small. They actually get fairly large, but not sulcata large. So they're big enough that it's a big tortoise, unless it's next to a sulcata. But it's small enough that it's way more reasonable than a sulcata.
And they're fun.
And I think personality-wise, though, they have the best personalities of any tortoises I've seen.
Gary's a
yellowfoot.
I love Gary.
They're so dang personable.
I begged Clinty for Gary.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "No, we don't need a tortoise." And I'm like, "Buddy, so please, can we keep him?" And we love Gary now. He at the reptile room, his enclosure's on the floor, so we'll just open it up, and the kids will be holding mustard greens or whatever greens we have that day, and they hold it out for him, and he just crawls right out of his enclosure to the kids.
The only danger of Gary is if you have painted toenails. Those look a lot like berries.
Yep.
But it'll be this speed of an attack.
Matt Steers says, "Hi guys, Matt and family from Nevada again. I remember you guys. We met them at the expo.
Mm-hmm.
The expo is coming up, and we're coming over for it and more. We really want to see the reptile room, though. Will ours be normal weekend?"
Oh, as far as I know, they will be. So we'll be open the Friday night before the Saturday of the expo.
Is the expo in March?
Probably April.
Yeah, we still have not figured out April hours. Probably the same, but honestly, with COVID and everything, we just have to take it 1 month at a time.
Wasatch Reptile Expo. Let's get our May 1st. The 1st of May.
Ah.
So that would run us through our April hours, though, the day before. So we'll get April figured out soon. So far, I think we're pretty happy. We'll just see what tonight looks like and the next few nights. And I don't think we'll be getting rid of Friday. How's that sound? I mean, Friday's sticking around for a while.
Mondays and Fridays, 5 to 9 p.m. She wants to hold you for.
Okay, let me wash my hands. I want to be hand washed.
You're not even wearing socks with your dress pants.
Why would I wear socks?
You always wear socks. Clinty, I almost never get to see his toes because his toes always are too cold, so he's always wearing socks. Always.
Yeah, well.
And he's not even wearing socks. Because 9 minutes before it started, you were getting in the shower.
No, why I don't always show off my toes?
Why?
Because I don't have them all on one foot.
Oh, yeah. Clinty doesn't have all of his toes on one foot. People are foot phobic. Don't show your feet.
Okay. Anyway, carry on.
Let's see. We are down to Keenan, who sent a $5 super chat. That said, thank you.
Hey, baby girl.
Have you seen Bruce Jane YouTube? He's from the University of Cincinnati. It has awesome short videos on snakes and reptiles.
Bruce Jane? I haven't.
Me either.
But I should check it out.
Yeah.
I should. Oh, wait, no, I can't type it into the YouTube right now because I have your comments open.
This is a question from Patreon.
Patreon
is an awesome place to get extra bonuses from our channel if you choose to support us. I know Jason works really hard to make it a worthwhile place to be. So
this week too, we made a couple of experimental videos this week. One of them about a group of animals that sometimes the videos aren't that popular, but they're so cool. Actually, they are tortoises, for the record.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, turtle videos in general don't often get that many views for us.
Yeah.
But we want to be able to make that kind of content, and Patreon gives us a lot of additional flexibility where we can still like pay the bills, but at the same time we can make different kinds of content because we don't want to just like fall into we can only make the stuff that's the most popular.
Right.
Or all we would do are venomous snakes and rocking arthropods. That's all we would make from now on. We would ditch all the other things that we do.
But all the other things are so important, and we want that
Yeah,
information.
we're trying to build a resource, and Patreon gives us a lot of opportunities to do things like that, and we try to pay it forward to our rad fans and our stinking rad fans for all they do for us by providing all kinds of cool features like early videos and asking questions. And Alicia, RUNNOFT.
Sorry.
She'll be back.
He wants more fishy crackers. Do you, baby?
Do you want more fishy crackers? I'm going to bring up a comment if...
Okay, so this is from Sam Dumbledore.
Dumbledore?
No.
Okay.
Hi, Clint. In your video on blood pythons, you mentioned as ambush predators, they sit still for quite an extended period of time. What adaptations do they have to prevent the side effects of not moving for a long time, i.e. muscle atrophy and blood clotting? Thanks, and keep up the amazing content. That's a good question.
Yeah, that is a really good question. And I don't know if I can tell you about the physiological things. I do know that they slow their metabolism to very, very slow, which is why you don't need to feed a blood python very often, and they can easily become obese if they're overfed because they are just sitting there with like just the pilot light on. And so blood clots, I mean, my guess is it's going to have an effect on their blood coagulation cascade, that some of those proteins are going to be just not, they probably clot less just overall. Because
does that mean if they're injured, they bleed more? The blood
potentially that would be a way to test that hypothesis at the very least. And so that's a really good question. As far as muscle atrophy, same basic thing. All of the systems that normally would start breaking down muscle tissue, there's just going to be selection on those to not be so aggressive about the breaking down of muscle tissue and the reclaiming of muscles. And this is benefited by the fact that their metabolism is so low,
right?
And so they don't need to be taking back energy from unused muscles.
Right. Interesting. Anthony says, so have either of you had any interactions with any animal that you personally have had trepidations about interacting with, only to discover that they are well-natured?
Faux show. I mean, I talked earlier about pythons, which it wasn't that I thought that they were aggressive. It was just that I thought I didn't know if I could read them. An animal recently that I've had a really great experience with that often gets reported as being not so laid back were cottonmouths. I was around my first ever wild cottonmouths just late last year, a whole lot of them, and not one of them did anything defensive or aggressive or anything. Like, they were just kind of minding their own business and trying to avoid us. And I'd read a couple places that oftentimes they're that way, but then some people say they're really aggressive, and it might vary by population. Or for example, the Pituophis snakes that we have here in Utah, in the northern part of the state, nicest pits some of the nicest snakes I've ever seen. But you go to even southern Utah with the same, there's still Great Basin gophers. They're much more defensive.
Really?
And there's going to be different selective pressures on how much you should stand up and fight, and how much you should be laid back and chill and maybe keep from getting noticed.
It's crazy that behavior differences could happen that close.
Yes.
Geographically.
And I'm not sure what the selective pressures are that make the difference. Yeah. But the garters here are also the nicest garters I've been around.
Yeah.
And we've got rubber boas. I mean, all of the snakes I've encountered in this area of Utah are the nicest versions of those snakes.
Even Mormon racers?
Yes, they're the nicest racers I've ever seen by miles.
Really?
Racers are the only snakes I've ever had back me down. And, where they're just coming at you.
Yeah.
And they're fast, and they're at you all day long.
Mm-hmm.
I've had racers here that I've been able to pick up. And I mean, I've never been bitten by a racer, and I've handled multiple racers here, even unrestrained. Yeah. I had one bite my pants once. That doesn't count.
That doesn't count. Let's see. Carolina Bankmuna said, Aki monitor versus Timor.
Aki. And we actually talked about that a little bit in our video on 6 of the best pet monitors. because those are the two little ones that we talk about. Here's the only reason. Timors, I actually like the way that Timors look better than I like the way that Ackies look, because they've got more of the traditional monitor build to them. Their heads are a little more proper monitor. Their tail is way more proper monitor. That's not to say that Ackies don't. I mean, Ackies have really cool tails. It's just not a standard monitor tail. Yeah. And I love the monitor body build. And so Timors I think are prettier. They're just way more shy. Really? And so if you want a monitor that you can interact with, and hang out with, yes, an Ackie is it hands down.
She's being cute over there. Yeah. Shanna Hubbard said, "Hi, joined a while ago, but this is my first question."
Because this is Patreon.
Hi. My question is more about kids and reptiles. We have 18 reptiles total, basilisk to leopard geckos, ball pythons to savannas. My son is 11 and very mature. He is interested in having his own reptile. Time for my question. What is something unique but affordable and child-friendly? We have a whole video.
11 years old. Yeah, we do. We do have a top 5 for kids. I'm trying to think. I don't think anything on that list is particularly unique.
No.
So some unique things that would be good. Assuming, 11 is starting to get old enough that they can take a lot of the responsibility, especially if they've been raised around reptiles all their lives. Like Owen's only 7. He's not there yet, but I think give him 4 more years. Yeah. He'll be, you'd still want to watch over him. So unique things. I think Rankin's dragons are unique in that you don't often see them, but they also are similar enough looking to central bearded dragons that people might not know. Emerald tree skinks are unbelievable, and they would be appropriate. Unique but affordable. Was there any other criteria?
And child-friendly.
Child-friendly.
A blue-tongued skink, that's not super unique.
I don't think that's super unique. So here's the thing. Who are your friends? Yeah. All right. I think a blue-tongued skink is not that unique because I know lots of people with blue-tongued skinks. But if you walk out on the street with a blue-tongued skink, 99% of the people are like, "What the heck is that?"
Oh, yeah. When we were just married, just newlyweds, we started doing reptile shows, and we lived in Provo, Utah at the time. And in Provo, they have fairs and carnivals all the time. And so we would just walk out. Clint would have a bearded dragon on his shoulder, and I may or may not have a snake on my shoulder.
Yeah, ball python usually.
Yeah. And we would pass out coupons to our reptile shows. And Clint, people would die just seeing a bearded dragon. They're like, "Oh my gosh, is that an iguana?"
Yeah, that was the most common question.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what is
that
unique?
Alive?
Yeah, but a bearded dragon or a blue tongue is not gonna blow your reptile friends away. Yeah. What the heck is that? Yeah. And so, but it's a little bit harder finding something like that. But I think we've talked about a few goodies. Let's see if we can get a snake for him. That we'd add to the. Oh, honestly, depending on how unique we're talking, something like a bull snake is pretty unique.
Sand boas and hogs, although
I
don't
know how unique are we talking here.
Yeah.
But those, among normies, those are pretty unique things.
Kelly Bled said, "Hi Clint, can you talk about nocturnal animals and UVB? It seems that a lot of people feel that nocturnal animals don't need UVB, but then others are adamant that they do."
I think that is a great question. I'm actually considering making a whole video about lighting at the very least, and maybe UV lighting. Here is I think the biggest thing too. I think this is really all there is to consider here. Where is that animal during the day? Whether it's awake or asleep, that is irrelevant. Mm-hmm. But if it's something like a crested gecko or a leaf-tailed gecko especially, it's often hiding. Crested gecko probably partially exposed. A lot of times they kind of bury themselves or they'll be under leaf litter a little bit. But a leaf-tailed gecko, nocturnal, it's asleep, but it is right on the side of a tree. So it is getting exposure to UV all day, every day. Yeah. It almost certainly incorporates UV into its metabolic activities. If it's something like a banded gecko or a leopard gecko, that's much more likely to be like buried underground in a moist burrow somewhere during the day, it probably doesn't utilize UVB from sunlight
Yeah.
because it's just not living that way. It's not exposed. So
Depends
that
on the animal species.
it depends on the animal. It doesn't matter if it's awake or asleep.
Yeah.
What matters is it out in the sun or is it not?
Yeah. Good answer. David Shook said, just got a Taylor Swift scorpion on Saturday.
Very
Yep,
cool.
all your fault. Cute. That's awesome.
I want one too.
Now we have to find a Cuban false chameleon for my wife. Yep, all your fault.
I'm sorry. I'm a ruiner of
How
things.
about is a Cuban false chameleon good for the...
That would actually be a great one and very unique. That could be one as long as you're overseeing things.
Yeah.
Babies sometimes have trouble eating on their own, so you might need to learn how to assist feed a baby false chameleon and baby anole, but they're very easy to assist feed.
Both in a good way, except there doesn't seem to be any in the U.S. for sale. Do you know of a breeder that has some?
Nope, I don't. They're Cuban false chameleons. Whiptails or Taylor Swift scorpions.
Sorry.
I've seen those around, but I don't know anybody off the top of my head. But I know they can be found. They're out there.
Jacob Huser said, okay, Mr. Zoology Dude, do mermaids give live birth or do they lay eggs? I think they're like platypus. They probably lay eggs.
Yeah, given where the fish portion is located on a mermaid, there's an episode of Futurama that fills me with joy. I won't quote it, but if you know it, you know it. But given which portion of your typical mermaid is fish, I would say it is. There are live bearers. They're fish. Here would be my biggest question. So they definitely seem to have the back end of a bony fish.
Mm-hmm.
Though I will tell you, they bend up and down like an aquatic mammal.
Yeah, they do.
But they've got the scales and everything of a bony fish, a bony fish specifically. And this is important because you wouldn't expect the males to have claspers. But what I would need to look at, because there are some live bearing fishes, mostly guppies and their close relatives, and they have a modified anal fin called a gonopodium that they use to do internal fertilization. So that's their gonopodium. That's their sperm transfer. You can actually go to the pet store if they've got like a normal kind of
rounded.
Yeah. What shape would you like a dorsal fin from a shark shaped anal fin? That's a female. If they've got, it's usually tucked up, and if it tucks up long and thin and just kind of hangs out parallel to the tail, that's a male guppy. That's the gonopodium. And I would need to look at some mermen to see if they have a gonopodium. If they don't, I don't think there's any type of internal fertilization that's going on, and they simply lay their jelly-like eggs on the outside and then fertilize them on the outside like frogs.
Yeah, good answer. See, Ryan, you're happy with that, aren't you?
Well, it can be. Is our pack and play broken?
Where?
Up top?
I don't think so.
Okay, it's only sort of broken. We've only had that for like
8 years.
8 years, bought it used.
Ryan Shyrock said, hi, Clint. I've been a subscriber to the channel since your 3rd video. Wow. That's awesome.
That was our Crescent Gecko video, which is...
I've always wondered about the herpetology textbook in the background of your set. I'm interested in getting a copy and was wondering if you could share any details about it. By the way, I just purchased my very first reptile, a female spider mocha ball python named Pistachio. She has a slight wobble, but I love her dearly. Thanks again for all you do, mate.
Let me bring up.
Is it the one that's upstairs?
No, it's on the bookshelf.
Biology.
So here's the story with that book. So here, I'll see if I can find the exact one that I have. They're much newer editions, which would be better. So this is the exact one I have. So I have Herpetology and Introductory Biology of Amphibians and Reptiles, 2nd edition. This is, it's by Zugvit and Caldwell. That's the herpetology book that's in the back. There are newer editions of it.
Where'd you get that book?
So this is the story of how I got that book. When I was in high school, I was way into herpetology, and my dad worked for a book publishing company, and that book, I don't know how their relationship worked out exactly, but the company that publishes that book found out that my dad's son loved reptiles, and so he sent us that herpetology book.
That's
and then
nice.
probably 4 or so years later, when I was in college and I took herpetology, that was the textbook.
Really?
And so I think I was like the only person that already just happened to have
the textbook
that
for class
for
because
class.
you're a nerd and stuff.
Yeah, that's some serious. That is some top level nerding.
Yeah.
When you have had the textbook for a class for years.
That's awesome. That's a cute story.
My friend Joey teaches herpetology at UVU from Great Basin Serpentarium, and I think they're still using a current version of that same textbook.
That's cool.
So it's
So
a
get
dandy.
the current one.
Well, get the current one if you want the most cutting edge information and you hate money, or you have more of it than you know what to do with, or get one edition back if you're okay with 4 things that they changed along the way and you want it to cost 1/5 as much.
Katie.
That's how textbooks work.
Katie Dunsky said, "Hey, new patron and first Q&A. Welcome, Katie.
Yay! Thank you for joining us.
I'll get to join live. Fingers crossed.
Are you here? Are you here, Katie?
Yeah, tell us if you're here. I adore you and Leisha. I'm convinced that I need a ball python or a BCI, but my husband is not into the idea. He finds the scaly creatures off-putting. What is the most convincing fun fact you have about either species to add to my pro-snake argument?"
I would say, more than a fun fact, you just need to get him around, especially a ball python. Ball pythons and boas. They both make great ambassadors for themselves.
Yeah.
If you can just get his hands on a friendly boa or ball python, whichever one you're kind of leaning towards.
If you have friends who have some, or pet stores who this individual is really sweet.
Come on over to Clint's Reptile Room. You'll have a ball python later that week.
Yeah.
That will make a big difference. Other than that, if you can show him videos perhaps of a defensive snake, that seems to really help people when they can see what a defensive snake looks like, because they'll realize that all of these other snakes are totally inoffensive.
I was just talking about that, how we used to have a really grumpy snake. I remember you got it out of the enclosure once and it tried to strike me.
Yeah.
And Clint used to take it to his lectures to show them, this is what a grumpy snake looks like. These are the things that you look for. And then when he would pull out a nice snake, the people who were terrified of snakes were like, "Oh, I'll hold it."
Yes. Yeah. She tragically mellowed out as she aged, but I mean, she would be so on guard.
Yeah.
And she's following me around. She'd strike into the air a few times, and then I'd pull out another ball python, and it's just like, "Hi," just looking around, doing the ball python things. And people are like, "Oh, that snake is no threat to me at all."
I'll hold that snake.
It makes such a difference.
Mm-hmm. Really? You think so too?
But mostly get his hands on some snakes.
Yep. Exposure. Hedrigal said, now that the Sabin black iguana, is recognized as its own species, is it a better pet reptile than the green iguana? This is a joke. The Sabin black iguana is probably endangered and shouldn't be kept as a pet for more important reasons than the fact that since they used to be considered a population of green iguana, they'd be terrible pets.
Yep. And again, I mean, here's the thing with green iguanas just generally. They're not all terrible pets. In fact, a certain percentage of them, probably 10, 15%, are amazing pets. They're intelligent, interactive, lovely creatures. But the majority of them turn into absolute monsters. And some of it depends on just the personality of the individual, and some of it depends on how much and what kind of work you're putting into them. But if you get the right personality and you put 3-4 hours a day into it, it'll probably be pretty good. That is also true for bears. And this is probably a really similar situation.
Hedrigal, on a serious note, says, given how this species used to be considered a melanistic morph of iguana, could there be members of this new species already in the pet trade? And if so, what does it mean for a pet owner if their pet... Sorry. I'm joking. I ate a fishy cracker.
Yeah.
One of Martha's.
You fool!
I'm joking on it.
See, it's not so easy to steal candy from a baby, is it?
Yeah.
Don't steal crackers from a baby, though.
What does it mean for a pet owner if their pet goes from a least concerned species to one that is critically endangered?
Not much if you just happen to have it, other than if you're breeding it or trying to sell it, you might need to jump through some new hoops.
Yeah.
But I think generally it's, I mean, you know, a situation like this, especially where you don't have any sort of verification that what you have is actually, you know, a true black iguana.
Yeah.
It could be a melanistic green iguana, and no one's going to come after you.
Yeah. Milo Wood said, I got to see sevens, I don't know how to say it, sorry guys, black iguanas in the wild. Clint, what is your opinion on keeping blue dust fainting beetles in the same enclosure as a Sonoran gopher snake?
Oh, Sonoran gopher?
Sorry.
Okay,
Can't
so
read these animal names that I don't know.
blue death fainting beetles in the same enclosure as a Sonoran gopher. Honestly,
Is it
probably could work out just fine. I use mealworms and mealworm beetles as cleanup crew for some of my larger reptiles, and blue death fainting beetles seem particularly unlikely to do any harm to your reptiles. The one thing with blue death fainting beetles is we've had a very difficult time getting them to pupate successfully in captivity. And so it's unlikely, I would think, that you're going to have multiple generations going on in that enclosure, but which you can do fairly easily with things like mealworms. But probably would work. I mean, it's probably some risk to the blue death fainting beetles that they could just end up getting trampled by your Sonoran gopher at some point.
That's all of Patreon.
We've got through Patreon, but we have a lot of
some more super chats coming in. But my friends who are supporting us on Patreon, thank you so much for your support, and thank you for asking such awesome questions that keep our live streams entertaining. That was a fun round.
They were fantastic.
Thank you. You want to do some super chat?
I do. I want to read one more response. Okay, so here's just a quick one. This is from It's Me Again. At first, I didn't know much about reptiles and generally was more interested in mammals. But thanks to you and many other great channels, I've found my love and passion for reptiles, especially snakes.
Cute. That's really sweet. Those are such good.
Here's just another one really quickly. I can say the same. I wouldn't have my precious corn snake if it wasn't for your videos as well as snake discovery. My baby gives me so much joy.
Cute. That's really sweet.
These are the best.
Keenan sent a super. Oh nope, we already read that one. Griffin Clark sent a super chat and said, "Named our hognose after Clint. Love the channel."
Yay! I'm a hognose snake. Yay! I'm a hognose again.
That's your tongue coming out.
Yes.
I get it. William May.
You like that one, baby girl?
Said, I've always liked reptiles, but watching videos from you and Snake Discovery really changed my mind about arachnids. They make such awesome pets.
They are amazing. And I gotta tell you, like, some arachnids make me more nervous than most reptiles do, but I love them, right? They're definitely in that misunderstood category.
Yeah.
There aren't any arachnids that hunt people. So, was that a sleep park?
Yeah, I guess so. Theo's sleep parking. Let's see. John S. sent a super chat and said, have a great day.
Thank you, John. You too.
Thank you for your support. This one is from Giovanni Garcia. They say, fox with hearts dancing. A super sticker.
I would love to do a video on foxes, by the way. That'd be so cool.
That would be fun.
Especially fennecs, but also red foxes.
Yeah.
I can tell you the thing, though. This is the deal with foxes. Generally speaking, you don't want a fox. What you want is 10 hours playing with a fox.
Yeah.
At some point spread out over the course of your lifetime.
Yep.
What you don't want is all the rest of the time that you own a fox. But fennecs might be a little more reasonable. We'll have to do a video.
Since we've been sitting here, Betty Morgan booked a one-on-one.
Yay!
I don't know if you're here, Betty, but yay!
Thank you, Betty.
Well, I think
that's it.
I think so.
we're caught up and we're right at the 1 hour mark.
Isn't that awesome?
That never happens. Let me read a couple more.
Ouch. This girl is ready for us to be done.
Okay.
She's wanting some lunch and stuff. Huh.
This is from Cam. You are one of the people to help me get over my fear too. It's good to finally understand them and not be misinformed about their nature anymore.
Cute.
I love that.
That's
Oh,
really
and then you know.
Yeah.
It was YANO. It took me a moment.
Yeah.
It only took me the one time I held my best friend's ball python for me to decide that I would love to have one too, if I have the means. Snakes are so cool, and Monty, the snake, was so sweet. Snakes make great ambassadors for themselves.
They do.
They are the ones that transform it from fear into love.
Yep.
You know, and all like I can't do that, right? Like, you know, on this channel, I'm trying to think of something genuinely scary. I'm not going to be able to convince you that humans aren't terrifying. Because they're terrifying. Humans do. Lots of humans are nice, but there's some real scary ones out there. But I can take an animal that is wonderful and delightful and amazing, and I can just show it to you, right? And that changes everything. They are their own best ambassadors. And I'm so thankful for you guys. I know you guys are reaching out and changing perceptions. And I mean that's the future of the hobby. That's the future of protection for these animals. And thanks for being part of it.
I have a question.
Yes?
Do we want to keep doing these live streams? The past several weeks we've been getting fewer and fewer people here, so I'm just wondering
maybe we'll do a poll.
Give it a break.
We'll do
for
a
a little while. Maybe people are starting to warm up and people are getting busy.
Getting out or change. Maybe they want to. Maybe we could change the time.
Yeah.
We'll ask. We'll do a poll and see if we want to keep doing them and when. But I see we're getting some good feedback right now. We look forward to these, and I know they're a lot of you guys look forward to it too. So
yeah.
We'll ask.
Yeah.
But I would like to keep going.
Well, I mean, it's a good conversation to have with fewer people showing up and things. I mean, maybe people want to break
or less often.
Yeah,
every other
once
week.
a month or something.
Yeah.
So
we'll figure it out.
Yes. Oh, a super chat just now came in from Sycamore. They said, "Hey Clint, I'm defending my PhD fish ecology in a week, and you have been a true inspiration for my own journey. Love your content."
I'm so excited
awesome.
to hear that. That is amazing. Yeah, let us know how it goes.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Oh, fish ecology, you think? I did a fair amount of fish ecology in my life on Gambusia, the mosquito fish.
Yep. All right.
All right, we better get out of here before everybody falls to pieces.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for being here. As always, like and subscribe, and we'll see you real soon.
Bye.